Welcome to Hard Hats and Horizons, the podcast where we dig deep into the construction and economic developments shaping the future of Dallas-Fort Worth. We bring you insights from industry leaders and visionaries who are driving growth in North Texas. From construction projects to industry trends and insights, we cover it all. So grab your hard hat and join us as we explore the people and projects shaping the skyline of DFW. Now, here is your host, Andrea Pender.
Okay, welcome to the Hard Hats and Horizons podcast. Today we have Lydia Donnell with Root Engineering. She is the Vice President of Business Development there. And we have all sorts of things to talk about. We have lots of highlights and interesting things that she has done in her life. A couple key highlights is playing golf in college. She just recently ran her first marathon. I'm sure there will be at least one more. And what I really love on the notes here, she put that she landed a job that truly fits her natural skill set. So I know we're going to dig into those things as we continue. So thanks for coming.
Yay, happy to be here.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Honored. Kind of talk to us about where you got started and how you landed where you're at now.
Yeah, so I'm currently in engineering in the commercial real estate space. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here on this podcast, but got my corporate start, I guess you could say, in commercial banking. So straight out of grad school, I went into a job in business development at a bank here in Dallas and was there for just over a year, I believe, a year and a half almost, and ended up meeting somebody that kind of recruited me out of that job and into the space that I'm in now. And so made the move from banking to engineering and doing the same thing though. So doing the business development type work. And so it's kind of taking the principles that I had implemented in my first role and just changing the landscape to what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're in business development, you know that it's the same principles that stand. It's just a new space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have new players and new people to talk to.
Yeah, new playgrounds.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the key moments or challenges that you've had in your career or in your life?
Key challenges. Let's see. Well, I would say I definitely went through a period in my college time where I'm like, okay, I'm playing college golf. Like, I've got this thing going, but I don't want to play professionally because the chances that most people are going to play professionally is minuscule. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I've got this skill set that I feel like God's gifted me with, but like, where am I going to take that? How am I going to help other people with that? And so took basically a year off after graduation because I didn't do internships. I didn't do any of that stuff they tell you to do. Didn't go to any job fairs or anything like that. And found myself kind of like, well, what now? So I took a year off. It was kind of the year that COVID happened. So it worked out.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time with family, spent the year at home, and decided I'm going to go back to school.
Okay.
Because what else do you do when you don't know where to work
okay.
or don't know what to do? So I went back to grad school. And that was a very pivotal, monumental moment in my life because I moved away. I moved away to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't know anybody. Was like, is this the worst decision I've ever made or the best decision? Turned out to be the best decision I've ever made. I grew as a person so much during that season of my life because I was out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I was away from everything I knew, everybody I knew. I had to start over with my friend group, had to start over with my life, my routines.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that calling and that challenge to do that. And I know that was God pulling me in that direction in that time of my life. And so spent the 2 years there, coached golf, got my master's degree.
Nice.
It was an awesome growth experience. And that is how I got connected in with the bank and ultimately found my way back to Dallas.
Okay.
And which I was thrilled about because I love Tennessee, but didn't want to stay there long term. And so that's how I ended up back here. And so I would say the challenge was definitely just like making sure I stayed uncomfortable.
Ooh, I like that.
Consciously, though.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, because it doesn't always, naturally we want to stay in our comfort zones and just be there in our happy place. And I get it. It's fun and it's comfortable. But a lot of the times the great things or the things that are going to challenge you and really move you forward in life don't happen there.
No, they're not going to happen there because it's the safe zone.
Exactly.
It's so interesting because we moved away literally like 2 weeks after we graduated college. And so I think that was a huge pivotal part in our life too, because you're away from everything you know. You don't know where to drive, you don't know where to eat, like you don't know anything.
Put everything in your GPS.
Yeah. And so I think I encourage a lot of people, like oh, you got a job offer in Chicago? Go do it. Like if you hate it, you can always come back, but go and try it and just see what happens. Because I feel like I've known so many people, they hate where they're living, they don't want to be here, but for whatever reason, they won't leave. And I'm like, gosh, like just think what the opportunity could be wherever that would be, the new state, the new city. So yeah, I think getting out of that comfort zone is big. And then I want to rewind a little bit more. How did you get into golf?
How did I get into golf?
Mm-hmm.
Very great question. Very simple answer. My dad got me started when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
Back when it wasn't really popular for girls to play golf. It was very kind of almost taboo to have like young girls playing golf. This was, let's see, 2003, I guess, something like that. And he took me to a tournament where there were other little girls playing and I wasn't playing at the time. And he was like, wait a second, my daughter could be doing this.
Yeah.
Like they're shooting not great scores. Like, yeah, she won't be good when she starts, but
nobody's good at anything when you start.
And I think he honestly had the foresight also to recognize it as an opportunity for networking, for business one day, which I'm so thankful for because it now is a skill or a tool that I utilize in my professional life. I play a decent amount of golf when I can, and it's great for networking and it's great for building relationships and just like having that low key setting to find opportunities in business.
Well, and it's something that anyone can do at any time. You can be 7 or you can be 85 and you can be out there golfing. Whereas if it's like sprinting 50 meters, you're probably going to peak. I don't know. You can probably sprint when you're 85, but
no, I mean, not many 85-year-olds I know that are sprinting or running for that matter. But yeah, you're right. It's a lifetime sport. And that's what they say. And my dad always used to say, like, everybody that plays, he always says, everybody wants to play golf at some point in their life. Like they want to pick up golf. So let's get you ahead of the curve and get you started. And so I'm very thankful. You needed that for all of my siblings too. We all play golf.
Oh, nice. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a party at the golf course all the time. Like we spent so many evenings there, but I'm thankful for that sacrifice.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really neat. Yeah. I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
What are some things that have motivated you or some lessons that you have learned along the way?
I think kind of circling back to what we just talked about, being uncomfortable and getting uncomfortable, it's a conscious decision. And I think it's easy to look at somebody that's been successful objectively and say like they just have a knack for success. But the truth is that person probably very intentionally made decisions and said yes to opportunities to stay uncomfortable so that they could continue to grow and just taking calculated risks. Like when I moved to Tennessee, it was a big risk, but I was like, okay, I'll probably be okay. Like I probably won't fail. I could. There's always that chance, but I'll probably find my feet and just make it work. And I did. And I kind of taught myself, it's kind of making a habit of that, of like taking the risk and realizing that you're okay. You're going to be safe. I think our first instinct is to be like, no, danger, unknown, risk. But it's just a habit of continuing to take those risks and to be uncomfortable, like I said.
And isn't there a phrase like the 10-year overnight success? Like all of a sudden you hear, oh, it's just overnight. And the person's like, no, actually, I've been working on this for 10 years. No one just noticed it.
Yeah, I think about like my mind works in sports. I think about Rory, who just won the Masters, and that was his career Grand Slam. So that means, you know what that means? Okay, good. It means that he has won, for anybody that's listening that doesn't know, it means he's won all 4 majors. And that's a huge career feat. And it's easy for, millions of people to look on and say like, okay, Rory's just really talented. He's just a great golfer.
Yeah.
But not thinking about the years of sacrifice and all the moments when nobody was watching him absolutely grind it out of the golf course and hoping one day that he would reach that feat. But those are the moments nobody sees.
Yep.
And so you just got to keep your focus and remember at the end of the day, like, what is your goal and where do you want to go?
Yeah, it's always interesting. It's kind of like social media. It's our highlight reel, So many times you see all those things and it's just good thing after good thing after good thing because you're not going to post the not as good things. But you have to realize people are people. Even if they are super successful, everything they might not have every single day as a successful day.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah, good point. Like people also don't see the lows or all the tournaments that he's missed by one stroke, or the times when he was at the bottom. They see the highs,
Right.
Like, oh, like it's so easy to glorify those highs,
Right.
but we all go through the mountains and the valleys.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just to summarize, saying yes, like just say yes to things, and remember to, if you are intentionally staying uncomfortable, you're probably growing and you're in a good place.
I like that a lot.
Do you need reliable, high-quality service for your commercial project? Choose Carrco, the most trusted contractor in commercial painting, drywall, and floor coatings in DFW. With over 30 years of experience, Carrco delivers top-tier craftsmanship across Texas. From expert painting and seamless drywall and durable floor coatings, we handle it all, on time and on budget. Transform your space with the professionals at Carrco. Visit carcopainting.com today. Carrco, where quality meets reliability.
What are some mentorship experiences that you have had throughout your career so far?
I love mentorship. I think it's extremely valuable and helpful for people because we're all at different stages in our career, right? Like when I met you, I was a year and a half into my corporate life. You're
More than a year and a half into my corporate life.
And so we immediately kind of like clicked, and it was like, okay, Andrea is somebody that can really help. She's got a lot of sage wisdom. She's really smart. She knows what she's doing. She's very successful. So we I feel like implicitly built that like mentor mentee role, not official or anything, but people like you. So there's somebody else that comes to mind in my previous life who I worked with at the bank. Her name's Amanda. She always was willing to just help me and just kind of steward whatever resources she had to help me. When I first started in banking, I didn't know anything about banking. And it really took a lot of leadership for her to invite me along to meetings. Sure, I may not have anything to add. I didn't have anything to add, but I learned because somebody was willing to recognize that I needed to learn and that I had potential, but that it takes those people walking alongside us, with us, to help us grow. And that's mentorship. It doesn't have to be, we need to meet for coffee once a month. We're going to talk about this, this, and this, and we're going to, set our dates. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be a much more implicit role. And so people have mentored me. And so I try to now, as I, enter into year 3 of my career, I try and take on that role whenever I can. Just, advice here and there, help people out. We all need help. Somebody has helped us out along the way, no matter who you are. And so it's so important to pay it forward.
Well, and it's interesting too, because in the commercial real estate industry, it's so big, but it's also so small. And so there's so many things you can help one another with, and then it just lifts everybody, So yeah. All my sage wisdom.
So much sage wisdom.
What is something that is unique or surprising that you've gone through that you would like to share with the audience? It could be from college golf, it could be from work. What's something unique or surprising that you've experienced?
Well, we'll stick with the golf theme.
Okay.
I just want to, I guess unique, something I think about often is that golf has been so much more than just a game for me, because every pivotal moment in my life, looking back with hindsight, is an opportunity that golf has given me. So I got to play golf in college by way of scholarship, because I got a golf scholarship, which was huge because I graduated with, by the grace of God, no student debt.
That's nice.
Very,
really nice.
Very blessed. Yeah. And then after that, so I would say, that was my first milestone. And then after that, I went to grad school because of golf. I was coaching golf. I would have never had the opportunity to move to Tennessee without golf. I wasn't going to go pay for grad school because with the GA gig, you coach and they pay for your school. So I got a free MBA because I was working as a golf coach. And then I don't think I mentioned this earlier, I only met the person that hired me at the bank because I played golf with him.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
And so I would argue that's the only reason I was at the bank. And then because I was at the bank is the only reason I met my current boss because, of the way things worked out. So golf is the reason why I am where I am today. And now, we don't know looking back what different path we would have taken if, say, I didn't play golf. I'm sure it would have been just fine.
Right.
But it's interesting to realize this sports. And for me, I have a passion for sports particular and the value that they can provide to our lives. But it's kind of the catalyst that got me to where I am today. And so I think about that often, and I just have a lot of gratitude for the game of golf, and it's still helping me.
Yeah.
It's still helping me find business, build new relationships, meet people that I wouldn't otherwise meet. So
have you ever read any books from the author Malcolm Gladwell?
No.
So he wrote a book called Outliers, and it's really interesting. And there's like research that shows like hockey was a good one. And a lot of the hockey athletes were born in like January, February, because they were, 10 months, they had 10 months of growing ahead of them rather than the kids that were born in November, December. And so if you look at hockey rosters, like most of the like high level athletes, they're born in January. And what's interesting is he tried and tried and tried to study golf, and golf was the only one. Really? It's the outlier of his outliers. Like it doesn't matter if you're in the peak fitness or if you're not in your peak. Like you can still be great at golf, and so it's
such an anomaly sport.
It's really interesting.
I'll have to check that book out. I know we'll probably talk about books at some point today because we're both big readers, but it really is an anomaly of a sport because it's so mental.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to argue, okay, I've never played hockey or baseball. It's got to be one of the most mental sports because you're in your head it's such a slow game. You're in your head for hours at a time. And there's just a lot of factors at play. It's not a quick moving sport. Like pretty much every other sport's pretty quick. So yeah, there's a lot to it, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Kind of shifting gears a little bit, let's talk a little bit about some industry insights.
Do it.
What are you guys seeing right now with industry trends, or are there any specific challenges your firm is facing right now?
Yeah, so we do, I'll speak on one trend that we're keeping an eye on. We do a decent amount of K through 12 work. And I would say it's about that with municipal is probably 30% of the work that we do. And we are keeping an eye on a certain trend right now called the school choice bill.
Oh, okay.
And it's for anybody that hasn't heard, I'm trying not to butcher this. It's basically, I got the gist of it. It's basically a bill that's in the House or the Senate or some kind of government body within the legislature within Texas. And it is basically proposing that parents would get a savings fund from the government, from taxpayer dollars, to choose where they send their kid to school. So private school, homeschool, charter school, public school. So if that passes, it would change the landscape for the K through 12 public school space. And so we are paying attention to that because say it does pass and people are not putting their kids in public school as much, there's not going to be as much public school construction.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. So for architects and anybody in that space, it's kind of a hot button issue right now because there's people on very opposing sides of it. Obviously, as you can imagine, there's people that aggressively oppose it. And then I think Governor Abbott is the one that is advocating for it. So it's interesting, but that's definitely a trend in our space that we're keeping an eye on.
Are you guys doing public K-12 and private or okay?
Yeah, we are. So we're already in both spaces. So that's good for us.
Nice.
Because say more private school bills happen because the bill gets passed, we're still already playing in that.
Okay, good.
So that's good for us.
Yeah.
But still affects me in my role because I need to know as business development where to kind of target my efforts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've read or I've seen bits and pieces on it, and then I just kind of wanted to wait for it to pass one way or the other because we don't have kids. So I'm just like, okay, well, whatever happens is gonna happen.
True. Yeah. You guys do work in K through 12, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could affect us all.
What sort of advice do you have for listeners that may be in our similar fields? So maybe somebody else at an MEP firm or maybe another business developer. What kind of advice do you have?
let's see. I think from the business development standpoint, I think I've learned in the 2.5 years I've been doing this, we cannot do our jobs, people like you and I, without leveraging our partners.
Mm.
Because so much of what we do is really only the front half. I would argue we're advocating for the firm, we're generating awareness, but if there's not the follow through on the part of our teams, we can't continue to do our jobs,
Right.
at least not in good faith.
Right.
Because we're selling, in a sense, the firm, the work that our partners are going to do. I always say, like, I'm selling the work that you guys and girls are doing.
Right.
So I think advice is just really trying to generate the trust and the buy-in from them, because BD is something that a lot of people, I think, don't even fully grasp. They're like, what do you even do, Lydia? Like, aren't you just going to happy hours
Yeah.
and lunches?
You're never here.
You're never here. Are you
anything?
working?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you've heard it all. So, and I know you're really good, Andrea, about educating your team on this is what I'm doing, and this is what the team is going to do in response to that, or this is how we can best work together, kind of thing. And so there's just a big education piece that comes into it when you're working outside the office and you're generating that awareness and building those relationships. How is there going to be follow up on the back end from the team so that what you're doing is not in vain?
Yeah, and it takes time, it takes trust, it takes all of those things where, as a BD person, you need to be out and meeting with the clients, but you have to have that trust kind of built at home, in the office with the people. So then they're confident, and okay, they're confident in you going out, and then you are confident in their work. And then, yeah, ultimately they really understand what you're doing and why you're doing all the things.
The
So
alignment. Yeah, the alignment both internally and externally has to be there. And on trust, there's a book recommendation I have for that. It's a Stephen Covey, the Speed of Trust or something like that. Have you read it?
I have either read it or it's on my list. I feel like I can picture the cover.
It's very deep it's a very in-depth book about trust. So if you're willing to like really dig into it and get down in the weeds with trust, it's really good because it talks about the different trust that we build with ourselves, with our different circles. So we build trust with ourselves, we build it with the people around us, we build it with our organizations, and then ultimately with like the global economy, and how trust is the factor that plays into all areas of success.
That's interesting.
It's very, very good book. And it really ties into leadership, because leadership is about building trust and extending trust. And so very great book, but definitely got to be into that kind of thing if you want to read it.
What is the thing that you are most passionate about with your job?
I really enjoy the fact that we get to build relationships for a living. And we get to connect with people. We get to help people. I think sometimes I'm like, man, I'm so lucky that I get to, I mean, of course you have to be a people person to be in our job. Like you really do have to have a passion for people and helping people and connecting people. But at the heart of it, it's just about serving. And I really try and adopt the mindset of how can I help other people before wanting to be helped myself. So it's so easy to go into it with the mindset of like, this is what I need, this is what I'm going to get out of this. Like, this is, my objective, which is good to know. You need to know your objective if you want to be successful. But how can you help first, serve first, and then in return, people are going to want to help you. And it's like almost a reciprocal thing of like serve first, help first, and then the business is going to come back. People are going to be like, Andrea helped me. She connected me with this person. Oh yeah, Carrco does this. I would love to send them some work, send them some business.
There's a book that I read years ago called Quiet, and I would recommend all of your engineers to read it. And it's really interesting because this is just going to be a book podcast at this point.
Sorry, I warned you.
But it talks about all the different types of introverts and extroverts. And I can remember years and years ago, I planned a happy hour, and I had an engineer say, I'm good for 25 minutes. And after that, I just get anxious and I just get nervous and I know I'm not good, but I don't feel comfortable leaving. And I said, please come to the event, give me your best 25 minutes and just leave. And I remember they were like, I don't have to say goodbye. I can just leave. I'm like, you can just leave. All the stress left,
Mhm.
and then they came to every single happy hour type of event after that. And so it's interesting. I should probably refresh that. I don't really have lots of introverts here, but it's interesting because there's different types, and everyone assumes business development people, that's all they want to do, go out and about. But I know my weekends and evenings, it's a lot of quiet time. It's a lot of recharging because it takes a lot of work.
It does. And we're
So,
always with people.
mhm.
We're always talking and being around people. So I feel that I'm the same way. And I'm halfway through that book, by the way. The other interesting thing about it is worth mentioning. It talks a lot about the extrovert ideal and like how we idolize the boisterous, loud, over the top person. And like that's what we think leadership is. But a lot of the times, the great leaders in history have been much more quiet, introverted people. And so it's a really important message because it reminds you that we all have our strengths. And sometimes great leaders are the ones sitting in the corner just observing. But you got to give them their space to talk and do their thing.
What are some of your business development goals at Root?
At Root, let's see, business development goals. First and foremost, I would say in my life right now, I'm really on a hunt. I'm on a personal agenda to get better at my public speaking.
Okay, I love it. I know.
So I shared that with you recently, and this is an encouragement to also always share what you're working on with people because you never know how somebody can help you reach your goals. I shared that with you, Andrea, and you put an event on my radar, or I guess a multi-event with Toastmasters happening here at the Carrco office with Texo, and it was a 6-week public speaking class where basically you face your fear and you get up and you give speeches for 6 weeks in a row. And I got to do it with some of the guys from the Carrco office, but that was a really, really, really great class. Highly recommend. But I say all that to say share your goals, share what you're working on with people. I think it's a really powerful way to hold us accountable. I am also working on improving my executive presence.
Okay.
So I am working on just holding myself to a higher standard, kind of having a stoicism about me, being well spoken. And I think along with that, shutting up when I need to and listening. I think so much of an executive presence is really being quiet. Speaking of quiet,
2 ears, 1 mouth.
yes,
Use them accordingly.
yes, and listening because you can't formulate replies or thoughts if you don't fully understand. Along with that, asking great questions. All of those things kind of tie into executive presence. So I'm working on that, listening more, and then obviously getting more business.
Right. Yes.
Which is like a given. But I have some things in the pipeline right now that I'm really excited about because I've been here about 15 months, I guess, give or take. And a lot of those 15 months have been kind of the grind of like building my network, building trust, trying to earn people's trust, make a name for myself, for the company. And I finally feel like things are starting to come to fruition.
Nice. Nice.
That's exciting.
I read a research study, and I've maybe told you this, but I read a research study years ago, and it said from the moment you meet someone until the time they give you a chance to propose on a project, it's 18 months. And that's not, oh, hi, Lydia, I meet you, and then 18 months you give me a job to work on. That's, I meet you, and then I cultivate and all the things, and then hopefully in 18 months, you might consider us for a project. So yeah, it's definitely the long game. Golf term.
There you go. I love it.
Long game in
Long
this
game.
industry.
It is, and I think that's really important to talk about if we're both going to talk about, business development in this space. I'm sure people listening are also business developers. You really have to have patience and you have to trust that you're doing the right things and that they're going to come to fruition. There's a term that we always used to say in sports called trust the process. And I'm sure you've heard it before. But I think the important thing to mention in that vein is that trust the process, but also make sure you're doing the right things. Because you can be trusting the wrong process and that's not going to pay off for you if you're not trusting the process, but making sure you're doing the right things. And that's hard to know because you want to give it, a certain amount of time to be like, okay, reevaluate the last 6 months. Have I made strides in the last 6 months? If not, I'm probably not doing the right thing. So I need to adjust the things I'm doing so that in 18 months, I can have a proposal land on my desk. But it does take a lot of patience. And so I feel like I've hit that point where it's like, all right, hope and stuff, is about to start flowing in, but you got to continue to be patient and just make sure you're doing the right things.
So moving on to kind of getting to know you a little bit more, what are some of your hobbies outside of work, other than golf?
Okay, let's talk about hobbies. My favorite thing in the world. We can spend the rest of the podcast talking about hobbies.
Which I think is very important because we need to have hobbies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am hobbies' biggest fan. I guess mainly in my adult life, I've just come to realize the balance that they bring to life. And I don't want a life without hobbies. I don't have to spend the next 10 minutes talking about why we need hobbies. I'll just go into the hobbies that I have. Golf, obviously. I love to read, as we've already established. I love to run. I am doing a lot of running at this point in my life.
So you just recently completed your first marathon.
I did, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this.
I did my first marathon. It was, I don't know if I could say it was fun. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was something that I knew I wanted to prove to myself that I could do. And I did that.
And you did it.
I did it. I did it in December of last year. I did the Dallas Marathon. I had done several halves up to that point and was just like, you know what? I need to like continue getting uncomfortable. I need to push the envelope a little bit. And so I signed up. Again, a calculated risk. I said yes, tying back into what we talked about earlier. It's that habit of doing those things, whether it's running, personal life, professional life, hobbies, like just making sure you're staying uncomfortable. And so I did, and I ran it, and I've got my eye set on another one this fall.
Okay.
But I haven't made the decision yet, and so we'll see.
It's a lot of time to commit for your training, and
it's a huge time commitment.
But then those people have also become your community.
Yeah. I love my run club. Shout out Endorphins Run Club.
I love it.
It's like the highlight of my week getting to spend, I mean, yeah, it's like the highlight of my week getting to be with the run club on Saturdays and just do my long run, because it's, again, back to community. It's just so important. The mentorship, the advocacy, the just making sure we're there for each other and building each other up. It's been super, super pivotal in my running journey. Let's see, what else? I have dogs. I love spending time with my dogs. I love to walk with my dogs. I actually have time to walk now that I'm not marathon training. That's the thing. When you're marathon training, it becomes your entire personality.
Yeah.
So that's my only reservation about signing up for another one, is that it takes away from your career. Like, there's things that I had to say no to because I was like, sorry, I gotta run 20 miles tomorrow.
I have 18 miles.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think it's doable for a season, but it's not sustainable term. I love to be at home. I love to cook dinner. I love to spend time with my husband and my dogs. I love to travel, trying to make a routine out of traveling, especially in this point of my life, because our family is small. Hopefully one day it'll grow, but I think traveling is another way to stay uncomfortable, because there's a lot of uncontrollables when you travel. It's agendas and timelines and schedules, and your plane can get delayed, and it's a healthy way to just make sure you're staying out of your routine.
Do you have a defining moment or a philosophy that you live by?
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of already said it, mentioned it, hinted to it, but just tying into that bigger theme of discomfort is say yes. Say yes to things. And that doesn't mean say yes to
everything.
Yeah, like obviously that comes with some caveats, but say yes to things that scare you and that make you feel uncomfortable.
It's so interesting how there's people who do that. I am one of them as well. And others who are like, nope, I just want to be safe. And it takes all kinds. But I always think like, gosh, don't they want to try the XYZ? And they don't. But again, it takes all kinds. And
it does. You just don't want to get to the end of your life. And I fear like getting to the end of my life and thinking like, I could have like done more and said yes. But I just lived my life safe.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I'm a faith-based person. I don't think that's like the best way that we can live our lives for many reasons. But even if you're not a person of faith, like you don't want to live a life that's just boring and safe and comfortable. You want to push the envelope a little bit.
I always find it fascinating when people retire and then they go back to work because they don't have anything to do. And I mean, obviously, I'm not planning on retiring tomorrow, but if I retired tomorrow, I would have 500 classes to take. I would have a million books to read, all the places to travel to. And I just always wonder, like, gosh, like, I wonder Wonder why.
Mm.
Wonder why.
What did you post recently on Instagram? You're already looking into like going back to mechanic school or something.
I had a dream that I went to Porsche mechanic school, and I'm like, well, let's research it. Like, how do I do this?
You're gonna have the most interesting retirement of anybody I've ever known. I can't wait. I hope we're still friends.
I told Will, I guess we're going to be invited to like Porsche mechanic school, parties and things. I'll be the 85-year-old lady there, but hey, it'll be a good time.
It's just important to, I think, stay interested, and that's what reading does for me. It keeps my creativity sharp, and reading is a way that I continue to just be curious about things, like be interested in stuff. It's so easy to just, or it's not easy, I guess, but it's important to stay interested and to stay curious and just like explore different things. Maybe you're interested in this. Okay, if you're not, go try something else. You hate running, pick up swimming. If you hate swimming, pick up tennis. Just find outlets.
That's one of the things this year I really like because I love learning, but normally it's like I'm going to do it and then I've committed to it for the next 20 years. And so this has been my first year of, hey, I'm going to do this, but just I'm going to commit to 6 months. And if I love it, then I'll continue, but I'm going to do 6 months. And then maybe there's something else I want to learn for 6 months. So
What are you currently learning? What are you doing for 6 months?
So I signed up for 2 classes instead of 1. So I signed up for like a residential real estate class, all about like flipping homes. So that is interesting. And then I've also signed up for a women's handgun class. And so that's been interesting. So there's like 6 ladies that meet once or twice a month and we learn all sorts of things. So that's my commitment for 2025.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That keeps you busy outside of work.
For sure.
Between that and working out, doing all your fun events that you do, pool parties, all of it.
Who or what inspires you the most?
I love this question.
Good.
I would say my family for sure, my husband, my value system, my faith is definitely something I can't leave out when I talk about what inspires me. I think I feel a calling on my life that is bigger and higher than just the day to day. And that's what I believe is from God because He has purposes for our lives and we should live up to that calling. And so that's really what inspires me the most. My friends, my family, my colleagues even inspire me, like you inspire me to read more and swim more and run more, do all the hobbies. But really just having those people in your life at the end of the day that just encourage you and challenge you and hold you accountable and all the things. My run club. Can't leave out my run club. They inspire me too to run.
It sounds like
marathons.
you've kind of purposely created like a nice group of people that you surround yourself with.
I try to. I definitely do. Because we deal with people in our jobs so much, but it's important to have those people at home that you can home meaning outside of work that you can also rely on. We need that community in our life and those people that we can fall back on and we know are going to encourage us and be there for us and celebrate the highs and lows with.
Okay, we have a quick fire round of questions.
Love it.
Which since I'm giving the interview, it's never a quick fire round. So I'm like, tell me more.
Well, us two together. Yeah, no.
What is the last book that you've read?
Last book I read, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Have you heard of it?
I've read it.
You read it? What do you think about it?
Well, I read it. It's been a minute, and I feel like it was very interesting because it was kind of a different culture and stuff that I didn't know about. It was a good one.
And it's a lot on grief.
Yes.
It's a lot on grief. A lot about on grief. And she talks a lot about Asian food. Like you said, it's an Asian lady that wrote it, a Korean lady, and she kind of connects food to her culture. This is not quick. Yeah, this is not a quick fire round, but it's fine. And a lot on grief. I thought it was interesting. I love memoirs though.
I do
because you learn so much about people's lives. It gives you an insight into other people.
I had never read a memoir until like 3 years ago, maybe. And now I'm reading one or two probably every quarter. Because I'm like, I feel like this is top secret information that no one else knows. Even though it's a book.
It's a book. It's
published,
but they're sharing it with me.
But they're telling me all these deep, dark secrets and things.
Yeah. Love memoirs. But then I'm currently reading, I had those in there, because we love books. Currently reading Your Story Has a Villain by J.P. Pokluda, which is a faith-based book, kind of about the spiritual realm.
Nice.
Good and evil forces. Very interesting. Even if you're not a religious person, like there's still a spiritual realm, good and evil forces. So that's an interesting read.
Nice. Yeah. What is your favorite quote?
Favorite quote? I had to look this up because I knew I would mess it up if I didn't. The best time I'm sure you've heard it. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. I love that because it's so easy to get caught up in like that, oh, like, but I'm so behind. Like, it's never too late to reinvent. And you better start now because you've already waited this long. Don't wait till tomorrow. Apply it to working out. I think so many people get discouraged when it comes to fitness because they're like, but like, look where I am now. You know, I'm so behind. But like, you're going to continue to be behind unless you start.
And it's interesting too, like living in Dallas, I feel like there's so much business being done. Or even, I mean, a year ago, I'm like, how did these people know to buy this or develop that or whatever? And I can remember my husband said, Andrea, like, we're in Dallas. This commercial real estate thing has been going for a long time and their parents did it. And so they've just kind of were ingrained in that. He's like, we're not behind.
Yeah.
We just grew up in different areas. But yeah, that's interesting.
You own a home, so you're definitely not behind, Andrea. Like, listen, it's a struggle for people in my generation.
Yeah, but you're not behind because
You're right. You're right.
You're making a plan.
The best time to buy houses today. I don't know about that. Debatable.
What is a skill you would like to learn?
I want to learn how to run with my dog.
Oh, which your dog want to participate in that?
She loves to run, but she's an Aussie, and so she can't help herself from biting the leash.
Oh.
So she's very athletic, and I love walking with her, but if I'm going to run, I might as well kill two birds with one stone and run with her, but she won't stop biting the leash, so I think I'm going to have to get a shock collar.
Or like a harness or a something.
Well, it's not like she pulls on the leash, she just won't stop biting my feet. She bites my feet. Sorry, not the leash. She bites my feet because she thinks she's hurting. Because they're Aussies.
That's her.
Yeah. So, but I want to learn because I want to be able to get her exercise in while I'm working out.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I can remember years ago, Will got a thing to hook the dog up to the bike. And that ended in like multiple bike wrecks because the dog was scared. He thought the bike was chasing, so he went faster. And then
good in theory.
It's bad for everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't always work.
I bet you can work on that though.
That's the plan this summer.
What is the favorite city you have visited?
So we went to Estes Park, Colorado last summer. Not for the first time for me, my husband's first time. I grew up going there, and it's just magical. I love the mountains, especially in the summer when it's brutally hot here in Texas. So definitely Estes Park. Also love Hawaii. Nice. Definitely a heaven on earth kind of place. I know you just recently went there to Hawaii. So I would say Colorado, Hawaii, and then I recently went, this is, I have many favorite places apparently. New York City.
Oh, nice.
Those are so different. Yes, three, but they all offer something different and I love them all.
We've been talking about going to New York City. So the last time I went to New York City, I was 4. And I really don't have any memories of it, even though I'm supposed to have memories from this.
You've got to go back, Andrea.
And we keep talking about going during Christmas, like to see the tree and all that. So we were tentatively planning this year, but I think we're going to push it to next year and do something New York City at Christmas time.
Yeah, plan it way in advance. Get ahead of it. It's magical at Christmas. It's a lot, but it's magical.
Yeah. What is your favorite construction project that you have been a part of?
Well, seeing as how I'm fairly new to the industry, I have to say my favorite is probably my first. I love it. It was a big win because kind of shows yourself that I can do this. I built this relationship with this client. They trusted us to do this work and we won the job. And that would have been the Kawa Coffee Shop in Justin, Texas.
I love it.
So if you're in Justin, go check out the Kawa Coffee Shop. It's really good coffee and my company did the MEP on it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things I really love about this industry is driving around and either you had a part of it or your friends had a part of it. I mean, you can just see the skyline and everywhere you're drawing, like, oh, I know a little bit about all. That's one of the things I love the most.
Yeah, or this person worked on that, or my friend worked on this. They did the architecture on this.
Yeah. Yeah. What is a piece of advice to someone just starting out in the industry?
Love that question. On the topic of mentorship and helping those that need it, because we've been helped before. I would say we kind of already touched on it, but trust the process. Realize that what you're doing, if you're in business development, I'm going to speak to that because that's what I do.
Yeah,
takes patience. It takes commitment. It takes making sure that you're doing the right things and just trusting that they're going to come to fruition. And like I said earlier, you may be doing the right things, you may be not, but take milestones to kind of look back and say, okay, this worked, this didn't, this is how I'm going to pivot. And that ties into just continually learning and just asking good questions, being curious, and remembering that you don't always have it all figured out and there may be better ways to do something. So use your network, ask people, hey, has this worked for you? How did this work out for you? Make sure you have those people in your life that you can reach out to and trust, the mentors that can guide you in a certain direction if you're not doing something that the way that may not be the best, and just have the patience, build the trust, and be genuine at the end of the day, be authentic, and people are going to want to work with you.
Love it. I know on your notes form, you mentioned there was a couple of things that you wanted to discuss, and one of them was not keeping busy for the sake of being busy, like in relation to business development. So, do you want to talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, I will. I forgot to put that on there actually, so thanks for reminding me. I think it can be so easy in this role to fill your calendar with meetings, lunches, happy hours, events, just for the sake of feeling like you're contributing and feeling like you are doing a good job because you're being busy. And that's a nasty trap to fall into. For one, because you may not be finding business at those places, but secondly, it keeps you busy and it's going to burn you out as a professional and as a on a personal note. And so I feel very passionately about making sure my calendar is curated and I've said yes to things that are going to bring value to both me and the person I'm meeting with. I know you're a big fan of taking me on the topic of saying yes, take the meeting, see where it leads, but also at the same time, make sure there's ROI, make sure there's objective in some way, because the worst thing we can do as BD professionals is just stay busy for the sake of being busy, because that's where the bad rap comes in of like, they're just out there having fun. And that's something I also apply to my personal life. I'm very careful with what I say yes to, because as we grow in adulthood, the obligations just continue to mount. The responsibilities, you own a home, you get married, you got to cook, you got to clean, the chores, like those things take bandwidth away from our life, which means we're left with a very small amount of time to do the things that matter to us. And the more that you say yes to things that don't, is taking away from those things that matter. So something I try and implement in my life is making sure I'm saying no to stuff. You should be saying no to things and opportunities in your life, because you're missing out on other things if you say yes to those things that you shouldn't be saying yes to.
I love that. You also mentioned that you are living slow. So talk to us about this also.
I try. I still don't really know exactly what that means. It's definitely a buzzword right now, but it's the same idea. It's the same idea of kind of rejecting the busy hustle culture. I read a book about that recently called To Hell with the Hustle, and then there's also The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And
I read that because
you recommended it. Yes, wasn't it so good?
Yeah.
It's just about, whether you're a faith-based person or not, it's just about making sure that you're not falling into that hustle culture of just being busy for the sake of being busy, because it's going to lead to burnout, and you're not going to be your best, and you're not going to be able to give the most. You're not going to be able to pour from an empty cup, as they say, and just give to the people around you if you're burnt out and you're just staying busy. So living slow means, it really, for me, boils down to saying no to things so that you can rest. Like, it's actually okay if you have a Saturday night without plans.
Right.
Believe it or not.
And it's nice.
It's amazing. Maybe even a whole weekend without plans.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a whole weekend?
Every once in a while it happens.
Oh my gosh.
And it's real nice.
Serious. And I always forget when I have those weekends, I'm like, this is the best. Why do I not say no to more?
Right.
And that means dialing back. It may mean dialing back some commitments, some relationships maybe that aren't, I don't want to say not serving you, because I don't really like that term, but just not adding to your cup and that you're not able to pour into because of bandwidth issues. And so it's just important to, I guess, make your yes mean yes and your no be no. And so that's kind of living slow to me. It's just saying no and taking time to rest.
What else? Is there anything else on your notes
that we didn't touch on? Well, let's see. We talked about hobbies.
We talked about books.
We talked about books for sure. We talked a lot about kind of advice that we've encountered as BD professionals. Oh, let's see.
I know there was one question I was supposed to ask you, and I forgot to write it down.
Oh, I remember. Something I'm excited about.
What is something you are excited about?
outside of work.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So I am currently trying to get involved with a women's golf ministry.
Ooh.
And it's very exciting to me because it is something that I've long prayed for, a way to get involved with college age female golfers and just offer mentorship,
Love it.
offer encouragement and advocacy. And it is faith based. So it's like Bible studies and stuff like that. But we're currently planning a retreat to Broken Bow in the summer.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's all for girls that play college golf.
Love it.
And it's more just, it's support because I remember some very lonely times in my career playing college golf where I was just like, man, I just wish I had a community because I wasn't getting along with my teammates and, I wasn't playing good golf and it just feels very isolating. And so this group is basically like a support community group for college age girl golfers. And so I'm very, very excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like a passion project. Again, like you should have things that you're passionate about outside of work.
Mhm.
It doesn't all have to be about work. It shouldn't be.
So in the show notes, I'm going to put the Root Engineering website. I'm going to put your LinkedIn. I made a note to include the Endorphins Run Club. You'll have to give me that information. Is there any other links that I need to put in there?
You said LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
I'm very active on LinkedIn, so love LinkedIn. It's like my favorite social media, I feel like, at this point. You can follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm pretty open on my Instagram. I've kind of blended and meshed my work with my Instagram life. We have a Root Engineering Services Instagram as well.
Okay. I'll share all of it.
Trying to up the followers on that. We're up to 80. Okay.
Nice.
We're getting on up there. LinkedIn, website, and Instagram is probably the main places. We do have Facebook, but I mean, like, who uses Facebook these days?
Some people do. A few people.
I do for work.
For work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I am so glad that you came out and talked to me today. It has been such a joy getting to know you over the last year and a half. I think it was Vicky who originally connected us. And I'm like, man, I really like this girl. And I know we're a million years apart in age, but I feel like we have so many things in common. And I feel like we're doing everything like this is how you need to do it. And so I think we have a lot of things in common. So
We do.
I can't wait to see where we're both at in 10 years.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I appreciate it and feel the same about you, Andrea.
Awesome. Thanks for being out today.